Hi guys, welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me. I'm going to give it a few seconds to get everybody on board before we get started today. We've got a really good show for you. I hope you'll pay attention and follow on with everything that's going on and what we're doing. There's a lot of offers we're going to make today. There are a lot of free giveaways we're going to do today. And so this is just really exciting show and a really exciting time. Reminds me I got to make sure I turn this phone down because everybody and their mother is always trying to get in contact with me as soon as I start the broadcast, which is crazy, right? And so we got a lot of invitees and a lot of friends that may show up today. As you are coming into the room, no matter where you're coming from, whether you're coming in from YouTube or you're coming in from Facebook, do me a favor, and I would really love it if you would introduce yourself, tell us your name and your phone number. Go ahead and put that information or whatever contact information you want or anything you want to say. Go ahead and put that in the chat. That way people can follow up with you and make sure to connect with you at a future time if they find that that's going to be something that's going to be meaningful and useful for them. So I know I got a lot of entrepreneurs out there who are doing great things in their communities and great things for other people to pay attention to. So like I said, go ahead and do me a favor and put your information in the chat box, and that way people can get in contact with you. I'm going to do the same. Anybody wants to reach out to me, they can always reach out to me. If I can only type, I'd be pretty good. Here at Marvin Powell, and you can call or text me at 703-201-4267. And that's usually the best way to reach out to me. Some people try to send me emails, and it really gets lost in the soup. I'm getting maybe 500 to 600 emails a day, and so it's very difficult for me to be responsive that way. But if you text me, that's a pretty good way for me to be responsive and to follow up with anything that we talk about here today, or anything that you want me to get a better look at or see more of. So if you're on the call, please do me a favor and log on and make sure that you announce your name and any contact information that you want to share. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you do. More importantly, where you're from. I really want to know if there's people out there from different parts of the world, because that's always exciting to have as a part of the episode. Okay. So today's episode is pretty special. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. And we're going to try to squeeze a lot into today's episode and just sort of give you an overview of what we're talking about. We're going to be sharing some of the secrets to leveraging. What do you need to do to make sure that you've leveraged everything that you can leverage when it comes to people? And I'm going to share with you one of my favorite concepts about leverage. And in doing so, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's coming up. We've got a conference coming up on October 31st. If those of you who haven't seen it, you can go to the chat box here. I posted that if you're on Facebook, and if you're on YouTube, you can see in the show notes, I posted a link to the conference that's coming up on October 31st. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have thousands of entrepreneurs from all over the world come together and talk about leverage. And we're going to have speakers from literally everywhere who are high quality people. We're going to talk about one of the 3 concepts of leverage, which we're going to share with you today. And we're also going to talk about the ways to present yourself when you are looking at making sure that you making good impression on people that you're trying to build a relationship with. This is a significant idea and concept that I can't say enough about. We're going to give you a broad overview of how to deliver a perfect presentation, how to make sure that you make the right impression, you put your best foot forward. But then over the next series of weeks, maybe 5 or 6 weeks, we're really going to be taking a deep dive into how you should make a good impression and how that's done well, so that you're memorable, so that people can share your information with others in a powerful, passionate way, and so that you have an ability to bring people onto your team and recruit people that are going to be it's going to be of significant benefit to them to know this kind of information about you when you present that kind of stuff. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. Like I said earlier, if you are coming from any place in the country, but go ahead and put where you're coming from in the country. If you're doing something that other people might find valuable, go ahead and put your contact information in the chat so people can know, what you're doing and where you're coming from. I see my good friend Nancy's out there. She's saying, I'm here for a while, at least my persuasive presentations, writer, editor, blah, blah, blah. Okay, she's just basically announcing herself. Thank you so very much for Nancy for coming through. Anybody else who's out there who would like to share their information or their contact information with whoever is on the chat, that would be a really, really good thing to do. We try to make as much meaningful connection as we possibly can. So let me tell you what this is. Coffee, Tea, You, and Me is a program that I've been doing now for more than 18 years. I had the concept earlier to do everything I can to help entrepreneurs and small business leaders get ahead, to find the opportunities to do things that they probably couldn't find just by sitting in their basement, their home office, or whatever they're doing their work to do. And so it dawned on me that as I was going about my business in the community, and I sat on several boards and I worked within several community organizations, that people were trying to get in contact with me all the time, and they were trying to reach out to me and ask for my help for certain things or whatever that was. And I found my life really, really constrained, because I was spending more time doing non-profit, or what my consulting friends would call free work, pro bono work, than I was actually doing what I was assigned to do. And so I found that I needed to carve out time to handle my community-related business, and which I did. I really decided that for 2 hours every week, every Friday, I would sit down at the local coffee shop, and at that time it was Jamie's General Bean. And then it went to Panera Bread for 2 hours, from 3 to 5. I would just sit down and make myself available to anybody who wanted to talk to me about anything. And that turned into a program called Coffee, Tea, You, and Me, where I now sit down at the Panera Bread, or I used to sit down at the Panera Bread before COVID-19, every Friday for 2 hours and just talk to entrepreneurs and business leaders. Now I put this totally online, and I'm probably going to keep this online component too, because I really like the broad reach and being able to reach out to people from all over the world and have access to anybody who wants to come. And it's sort of like you can pay attention if you want, you can zone out, you don't have to pay attention if you don't want, you can get any questions answered you want to ask. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to go through a traditional agenda. I may spend the first 35 to 40 minutes yammering on about something I think that you should want to know more about, and then I'm going to open up to questions and answers. So any questions that you may have about any information that I covered, or anything in general that's going to help you in your business or help you grow in your life, and anything you could think of, go ahead and ask away. One of my specific gifts and one of the benefits I think people have with playing with me is I always do everything I can to elevate their focus, their energy, and their productivity. That's a key for me. If you can get people to get more focus, more energy, and more productivity, then they can lead a more fulfilling, more well-balanced life, a life that's meaningful, a life that is significant. And that, to me, as a coach, is what I'm all about, helping you get to that point where you're doing the things that you should be doing, and doing things that you feel good doing, and doing things that make sense for you to do in the current environment. So anything around those things, anything around those ideas or concepts, anything that's slowing you down, anything that's in your way or causing some kind of a jam in your productivity or your focus or your energy level, fire the questions away. I look forward to answering them. Okay, so today we're going to talk about two things, two key moments. I'm going to try to get them in very in a big way. We're going to talk about leverage and why leverage is important and what leverage means. And we're going to talk about a specific aspect of leverage. In fact, we're going to talk about an aspect of leverage that I call the T3 concept of leverage. T3 is, or T cubed, is a way of looking at the time, the talent, and the treasure that we all have to create leverage for ourselves, with others, and for others, to then develop an explosive amount of energy that can then be put to good use to do great things in our lives and in our businesses. So we're going to talk about those T3 resources right up front today. Then we're going to get into the 5 elements of perfect presentation. And we're going to give an overall view of the 5 elements of perfect presentation. But over the next coming weeks, we're going to take a deep dive into each of the 5 elements, and then we're going to cap it off probably in the 6th or 7th week about how you put all these things together. So if you're coming for the first time, if you're enjoying us for the first time, you're in the beginning of a series that we're going to be developing over the next 6 weeks or so. And again, if you want to download the 5 elements of perfect presentations, I have put a link to that document in the show notes if you're looking at the YouTube channel, and I've also put that link in the chat up here. And if you're looking at Facebook, do me a favor, and for those of you who are on, give me an indication whether or not you can see the links that I put up there. Hopefully you can get to them and they're opening up and everything works out well. I just want to get an invitation if we're good. Give me a thumbs up or give me some kind of indication in the chat that you can see the links, because that's very important to me. I got quite a few people on the call and I want to make sure that everybody can get to everything. Let me see here. Okay. All right. So that's good. Looks like people can see the links. People can get to those links. That's great. The first link I want to talk to you about is related to the Level Up Conference, or the Leverage Up Conference that we're going to be doing on October 31st. On October 31st, I'm going to be having a virtual online conference. It's a half-day conference, and literally throughout this conference, we're going to be talking to entrepreneurs from all over the world. The whole goal of this conference is to open up the science and the art of leverage, and teaching people how to create a greater amount of leverage than they can ever create, because we're going to hear from 6 to 7 powerful speakers throughout the day. And you're going to get a chance to interact with those speakers. We're going to have breakout rooms. We're going to have a ton of free prizes, gifts, giveaways, all kinds of things are going to be available for people. And this is literally going to be a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to come together. I've been percolating this idea and working on it since, maybe 3-4 years before even COVID happened. And I realized that, you know what? There's no time like now. Let's go ahead and get it done. And so I'm going to do the first one on October 31st. After that, we're going to create a quarterly event that we're basically going to do, and we're going to be talking, and we're going to invite tons of speakers and tons of people who are coming from all over the place. I see got some new people logged on, and we're talking about the Leverage Up Conference that we're going to be doing on October 31st. And if you can see the links to those, I would appreciate you go ahead and take a look at that. If it's something that you think you're interested in, please go ahead and register. If it's something that you think you should share with other people, please go ahead and do so. I really need your help in order to do this, as a matter of fact, because left to my own energy, I can only do so much. But if we pull together and we can create something really, really great. I've got 3 speakers online so far. I need about 4 more that can talk about anything related to leverage, leveraging time, leveraging talent, or leveraging treasure. So let's talk about those 3 things right now. Okay. Leverage is, first of all, a key component to all of our success. In fact, nothing happens in life naturally or by force without leverage. Leverage is the tool. Leverage is the energizing force that creates more effort, more energy, more power than any of us could generate just left to our own devices, right? Obviously, in order to generate leverage, you need some type of objective, something that you're trying to accomplish. You need the tools, the resources, right, that you need to do those things, and you need the effort, the power, the energy, the talent, the blunt force, whatever it is you need to do to create and use the leverage. Now, that's the simple part of leverage. We're going to talk about those resources. There are 3 types of resources that we all have, and everybody has them. There's time, there's talent, and there's treasure. Now, we all have the same amount of time. We all have 24 hours a day, every day. That's all we have. That's all anybody has. Nobody can have any more. Nobody can have any less, right? So when you're leveraging, you think about leveraging time, really what you're thinking about is being more efficient, getting more done in smaller increments of time than you were getting done before. Now, how do you do that? You have to do that by leveraging a few things, right? You have to leverage information, and you have to leverage contacts, other people, talent, other things that people have, right? But when you leverage those things well, leverage expertise, create other things that other people can do faster, make it streamlined processes. These things are all leverage things that create efficiencies. Efficiencies are a productive use of time. The greater your efficiencies are in every aspect of everything you do in your life and your business, the more time you have that's kind of free to offer to do other things. So I want you to think about this, because a lot of us, and I encourage a lot of you to do this, to start taking an inventory of how you spend your time. And I want you to look at the things that are the most productive aspects of your time and really ask yourself, are you doing the best that you possibly can with this time? The last time I did this, I got an interesting story. Last time I did this in my life was a few years back, and my wife and I were literally competing to see which one of us could save more money. And so I really took a look at, what I was doing with my time and how I was using my time, how I was spending time, and what I was tracking. Right, so I started tracking all of my expenses, every single penny I spent every single day. And I had columns and charts and all kinds of graphs and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to win this, because what the competition was every single week, the one of us that saved the most money over what we were previously spending had to cook for the other one for the rest of the week. So not only do we save money by not going out, right? Obviously, we save money by forcing ourselves to look at what we're spending and asking the question, about how are we spending. So I thought, I was golden, because my wife had long hair, and she's a lady, so she has to go get that hair done. She has to get the cosmetics done. She has to do all the makeup and all that kind of stuff. And I figured, she's shopping. She likes nice things. I'm going to win this competition hands down. Then she cut off her hair, and her hair became shorter than mine at the time. And she didn't have to go to that. She saved that money, and she figured out how to get around using the bus, not taxi cabs. And she figured out how to do all kinds of things. She's very, very effective at this. She got very, very good at being efficient with how she spent her money. Me, on the other hand, I was eating Dunkin' Donuts and Burger King, and I was just like, I was spending a lot of money on fries, like $30-$40 a month in French fries, which is crazy, right? And Diet Coke and all that kind of stuff. I was just thinking about, because I was eating on the fly all the time, and it was, Burger King this, Dunkin' Donuts that, and Kentucky Fried Chicken this, and it was a lot of money I was spending out and getting out about and around the city. So it has not, needless to say, I never won, not one week that I ever win. But I figured out, not only was I spending money, but I was also utilizing my time in an effective way. And that's important. You need to understand that everything that affects your time, no matter what you're doing, is robbing you of opportunities to do other things with your time. And so leveraging time of others, like the time that I was spending at that time, going to Burger King, right? Going to Dunkin' Donuts, going to whatever, I could have been spending being more productive in my business. At the time, I was a financial advisor, right? So it was very, very important. The more interaction I had, the more engagement I had with qualified prospects, the more money I was making. So instead of making money, I was spending money. The opportunity cost was being lost, that me wasting my time on activities that, one, weren't good for me, two, were too expensive, and three, cost me the opportunity to do something else. And so that's what I'm asking you. Think about your time and think about how are you using your time, and who could do whatever you're doing that would help you be more effective and more efficient with your time. This is critically important, because if you know how to use your time well, if you know how to leverage your time by using other people's talents and other people's expertise, other people's information, other contacts that you may have, then you get that time back. And you can deploy that time in something that is of greater use for you, where you are more efficient and more effective. You can help somebody else be more efficient with their time by giving them the gift of your excess time, the time that you got back from not wasting it doing something meaningless or something that was bad for you. You can now deploy that same time to do something good for somebody else and create value for them. That's leverage, right? You can see how that can be leveraged. If anybody else can think of an example of how you can leverage or become more efficient with your time, go ahead and put that idea in the chat. I love to share it with other people. I love to read it out. But this is very, very important. So when we on the conference on October 31st, we're going to have 3 different speakers talking about how to leverage your time, how to create time and how to use time more efficiently to get so you have more time to do more with whatever it is you want to do, more of whatever it is you want to do, more play, more fun, more study, more prayer, more whatever it is you want to do to be more efficient with your time. We're going to teach you how to do that on October 31st. Second aspect of the T3 concept of leverage is talent. All of us have talent. We have talent, we have skill, we have abilities. We have what's called KSA, knowledge, skills, and abilities, right? We use those for job applications, and we use that for when we're going to write down for a contract, people want to know what our capabilities are. What can we do, right? What can we do very well, better than others, right? And as you hone those skills, you become an expert in some aspect of whatever it is that you're doing. This is your talent. This is your God-given talent, and this is also your natural born talent, and this is also the talent that you're able to acquire through the hard work and the process of living and practicing and rehearsing and doing everything you need to do, right? To maximize the effectiveness of your talent. Now let's talk about that. Your talent, whatever that is, whether you love it or you hate it, it's still a talent, it's still a gift, it's still an ability that you have. And I want to talk about the gifted side of your talent in the for a second. You have what you have the abilities you have the natural abilities you have, the natural capabilities you have, the natural skill, the natural talent that you have in spite of yourself. It's a gift. It's a gift that was given by God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, but it was given to you in order for you to do the things that you need to do. Now, I believe that we all have special gifts and talents that were given to us according to our ability to use them and handle them. It's our job in life to figure out how to use them as effectively as we possibly can and bless others with that talent. Yes, I meant share. Yes, I meant not just work for you or do what you need to do, but bless others with the excess of whatever it is that you're capable of doing. So if you're brilliant at whatever it is you're brilliant at, after you've gotten the value of it that you can get for yourself, or the value that you need for yourself, everything extra can be shared and leveraged, and by sharing it and giving it to someone else. So where are your gifts? In the leverage process, I shared the 13 different gifts that a lot of us have, and some of us aren't even cognizant of these gifts. We haven't thought about them. We've thought about what we can do to maximize those gifts, to package those gifts, to communicate those gifts to other people, and then to share them with other people. Some of us are great promoters. Some of us are great with money management. Some of us are great with time management. Some of us are great at listening. Some of us are awesome when it comes to connecting others. You know, whatever your gift is, whatever your talent is, again, there's 13 of them out there. Think about how you can take that talent, that skill, blow it up, put it on steroids, maximize it, and then share it with other people. Again, after you've gotten what you need out of it, after you've traded it for what you need to exist, to survive, to whatever that is you need to do, now it's time for you to take that talent and share it with others. Because there's only so much that you're capable of eating, sleeping, drinking, whatever that is. Once you've gotten what you need out of your basic needs out of it, what you need for your family, then that excess can be shared, and that excess can be leveraged, because there's somebody who needs that talent in order for them to grow what they need to grow. I was just talking to my friend Gresham a couple of days ago, and I was realizing that what my partner and I, Darren, have in the roundtable is so magical, it's so wonderful for other people to work from and to understand, that we think that it's something that can really grow and blow up. But where's the talent that we don't have? We don't have the internet skills. We don't have the ability to put together the websites. We don't have the ability to put together the contact management systems, the email structures, all of the outreach programs. We can put together content, but the tools of which that content can live and work and all that kind of stuff is going to require someone else that has a lot of talent and skill in that area, who's willing to partner with us to make that happen. And so I was talking with Gresham about that, because I know Gresham is brilliant at that. And he's like, you know what, I want to consider that. And so there are things that I think that we take for granted that we have, that we can literally offer to other people who might need it, and then help them grow, and they in turn will help us grow. So think about, what it is that you have in terms of talent, and what it is other people. Matter of fact, more importantly, think about what you need. What kind of talent do you need to have at your fingertips? And if you had that talent at your fingertips, what could you use? How could you use it to leverage and grow and create more? Whatever more is for you, I'm not going to define what more is for you. I'm not going to tell you what your goals should be, because that's not any of my business. But understand that everybody should be looking for more, looking to be better, looking to grow, whatever it is their skills and abilities are. Because if you're just sitting still, if you're just sitting on your talents, sitting on your gifts, and you're not trying to figure out how to really maximize them, you're not studying, you're not practicing, you're not rehearsing, you're not sharing, what are you doing? You're wasting a lot of effort, a lot of your life, and a lot of your energies, a lot of opportunities that you could have that other people could use. Now, there's a quote that I murder all the time, so I'm not even try to give you the quote. I'm going to paraphrase it. I read a quote quite a while ago, and what it said is, in essence, is every person on this planet who you meet has something to offer you. Something that's going to help you in your life, because that's the purpose of you meeting them in the first place. Your job is to figure out what it is that person has to offer you, and to be as grateful with how you work with it and use it as possible, so as to help that person feel like and understand that they are significant and they have been able to contribute something meaningful to the forward flow of human history. If it's just with your project or your thoughts or your ideas, they've been able to validate something, they've been able to prove something, they've been able to work on something, they've been able to contribute. And don't we all want to just contribute? Don't we all just want to be meaningful and significant? Don't we all just want to be sensitive to others and have others be sensitive to us? Dr. Covey said this and said it really well, and I'm just going to repeat it. All of us, no matter what you want in life, need to be understood. But in order to truly be understood, you have to seek first to understand. You have to be the first one out. You have to be okay with that. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. We don't know whether we're understood or not unless we get the feedback, unless we try to make sure that we are maximizing the gifts that we have and helping others maximize the gifts that they have. This is talent leverage. And we're going to have 3 professionals from the world of HR, from the world of recruiting, from every other world we can think of, to talk to our panel and talk to all the attendees of this conference about how to leverage talent, how to find the talent that they need, and how to communicate and how to recruit and how to get people involved with whatever you're doing, so that you're not doing anything alone of significance. All right, something of significance you should never do alone, because somebody can grow from the opportunity to work with you. And being selfish is just that. It's you're thinking about just you. And that's death, by the way. Human beings are not built to do anything alone. There's nothing anybody's ever done of any significance or meaning alone. There's always been other people. And if you want to be sustainable at your efforts, you've got to use other people. You've got to work with other people. And I don't mean use them in a bad way. I mean use them in a good way. I love that song from, what's that guy's name? I'll never forget it. He said, you need to keep on using me until you use me up. He's happy being used, right? So Bill Withers, yeah, that's a great song. And so, that's a great lyric, because, when you think about it, we've taken that word used and made it a bad thing. But if it's something that creates energy that is good for you and good for other people, then I want to be used. I want my talents to be deployed. I want my gifts to be shared. I want my life to have meaning, and I know it has meaning when I've contributed to others in a meaningful, powerful way. I hope you feel the same way. Because if you do, matter of fact, put it in the chat. If you do, if you agree with me, go ahead and put that in the chat that you agree. That you think talent should be shared. Because I think that's the magic manna that's going to make this world a better place. It's going to make it better for all of us. And by the end, if you're on the chat, if you just logged on, if you haven't had a chance already, go ahead and put your name and your contact information in the chat. That way, people who want to reach out to you know who you are and what you do, and it'll be a great opportunity for all of us. I promise you all, for those of you who logged on today, I'm going to give you I got a $5,000 gift that I want to give away, but you got to hang in until the end in order for me to talk to you about that, because this is going to be tremendous, right? So I want to make sure I get everybody in as I possibly can, and so definitely hang in there. It's going to be a quick little giveaway, but it's going to be easy for you to do. I'm just going to raffle off and pick somebody to go. My boy Warren is coming from Prague in the Czech Republic. It's good to see you, Warren. Thank you so very much for logging in. It's good to see you, Cherie. I really appreciate that. By the way, I put some stuff in the log notes in the chat box. If you're on Facebook and if you're on YouTube, in the show notes, a lot of downloads. So the 5 elements of perfect presentation, and access to the conference that I'm sharing with you guys on the October 31st. This is the Level Up Conference. Somebody's going to get a free ticket to the Level Up Conference today, by the way. And what else did I put in there? Something else I can't even remember. The Vision Quest 90 situation. I'll explain that a little bit later. Okay, so alrighty, where was I? I was talking about the third aspect of the T3 talent trajectory, right? So there's time, there's talent, and now there's treasure. Treasure is literally anything of value that can be traded or used to create something else of value, right? And so any type of investment is of value. Any type of investment product or service is of value. Anything that deals with money or something of value is treasure. So if you think about it, your art collection could be your treasure. If you have a valuable collection of art and that you can sell it for more than you paid for it, it has an appreciating value, right? But sometimes things just don't have wealth associated with that can be leveraged. Sometimes it has emotional content. Sometimes it has emotional relevance to it that can be leveraged, right? So it's very, very important, because long gone are the days where we consider emotions not important, or not valuable, or not something that we use. We literally share ourselves, our character, our vision, our passions through the things that we're emotional about, because it's emotion that gets through that basic humanity that comes from you to me. If I can't do it with passion, if I can't do it with power, if I can't do it with energy, if I can't do it with emotion, first of all, it's not me. You're not going to see my character show up. You're going to see some robot show up. And I got a feeling that you'd much rather see me show up than the robot Marvin show up, right? Or anything else. I'd rather see you, the real you, show up than the robot you too. I don't need you to read from a piece of paper. I don't need you to program something in and be so technical about it that I don't understand you. I need to see your face. I need to see your facial expressions. I just took a test, by the way, an emotional intelligence test. And it showed like 30, 40 different facial expressions of different people, different ethnic groups and so on and so forth, but different facial expressions. And you had to judge what those facial expressions were. And I realized, as smart as I am, as connected as I am, as much as I believe that, I am a people person when it comes to, actually learning how to work with people and being effective with that. I got some room to grow, because I figured I'm going to slam dunk this thing. I'm going to get 100%. Well, I missed quite a few of the faces. I still passed the test and I was still above average, but that's never good enough for me. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, right? So I'm going to go back and take it again and see if I can do a better job. I'll put it in the link if I can find it for you guys. But it's a great example of how we need to learn how not to just leverage what we think we hear or leverage what we think we have, but leverage what really is. Leverage that emotional content that's really working. Really know when somebody's with us and when they're not with us. Really know when somebody is really, really passionate and excited about what we're talking about or what we have to offer or what they think about us, because it shows up. It's written all over their face. If you know how to read their faces, then you know how to proceed and you know how to build trust. And this is the key. Trust is that ever increasing opportunity that you have with each other. Every time you say you're going to do something and you do it, you increase the trust. Every time you make a commitment and you honor it, you increase the trust. Every time you make a contribution that is valuable, you increase the trust. And when you increase trust with people, they are that quick to give you the results. They're quick to share with you their resources. They're quick to share with you their time, their talent, and their treasure. You know, you don't invite somebody over to see things that you value, participate in things that you value, go to your child's special events or your bar mitzvahs or weddings or anything like that. You don't do that if you don't value people. You know, because you don't want to just, well, some people want to just show off. But if you truly value people, you realize that, you know, you're inviting them into a special moment. You're inviting them into something that is intimate for you. Yeah, you're inviting them into something that's meaningful for you. And that means a lot, to be invited, for somebody to share something of value with other people, right? And that's just a critical aspect to building trust and a critical aspect of leveraging. Because if you're in somebody's inner circle, if you get invited to Christmas and the holidays and the parties, and you get, you know, to meet the elders and the children and the parents, you know that person trusts you. You know that person sees you as a valuable person, and so that helps you to know. But if you're not, if you have somebody that you think are in your inner circle but they're not really in, or you think you're in someone's inner circle but you're not really in, you know that by how they treat you. You know that by their willingness to give you feedback. I mean, real feedback. Not the oh, you did a nice job feedback. No. You did an awesome job. Here's what I loved about what you did. This specifically was something that I thought was meaningful for me. And this is something that I could take and use and get better. This is something I could take and use and at least validate that I'm doing the right thing, right? That's what feedback does. But when you hold back that feedback from somebody you say you love, then you're doing them damage, because you're not helping them to be more secure. You're not helping them to build their confidence. You're not helping them to grow as people. So we're going to spend at least 3 segments of the October 21st workshop, October 31st workshop, talking about how do you leverage the value associated with your things, the value associated with the people that you meet, the value associated with your content. And so how do you do that in a meaningful, powerful way so that you can create more energy? That's that whole conference. From the time we open up in the morning to the time we close in the evening, we're going to be talking about how to become better, how to leverage everything that you can leverage that you have available, how to leverage things that other people have available, how to connect those things and create magic. And so I love for all of you all to feel comfortable coming out to the conference. Again, all the proceeds from the conference are going to be going to the Community Business Partnership in Springfield, Virginia, that's dedicated to helping small women-owned minority businesses do everything they need to do to grow. And we're going to create, hopefully, a magnificent fund that they can start to do things like, you know, offer classes and courses for free to small businesses that demonstrate a need, either face-to-face or online. And so it's going to be really, really, really important that, you know, people who not only participate and come to the conference, but share it with other people, let them know there's opportunity, whether they want to come or not, to donate, to be a part of the success of the Community Business Partnership. I really like to give them $5, $6, $7 million from this thing. I don't think that's possible, but why not? Let's give it a shot, right? Let's see what we can do. So if you'd like to share the conference, like I said, I'll put the links in the show notes for in YouTube and in the chat box for Facebook. Please share that with as many people as you possibly can. It's going to be amazing. If you have any questions about it, let me know. Somebody whoever gets the giveaway I'm going to give today is going to get a free access pass to the conference and the VIP reception we're going to have prior to the conference. It's going to be a COVID-free VIP reception, right? So we're going to meet, yes, face to face. We're going to practice social distance and wear masks, and we're going to have luxurious food and great music, and you're going to be able to meet all the conference speakers personally, so if you qualify. Okay. The next thing I want to talk to you about is I want to give an introduction to the 5 elements of perfect presentation. And I want to do this because there's a couple things that I've been experiencing over the last few months that has been disheartening to me as people have moved their networking strategy more and more to Facebook and Zoom and so on and so forth. And they've done a lot of things that I think are going and regressing and going back to maybe what they should not be doing. And so let's just talk about the things I'm seeing. And I'll talk to you about why these things are critically damaging to how people are presenting themselves. If you want to download the whole entire presentation, again, I put that in the show notes and I put that on your Facebook chat. You can get the 5 elements of perfect presentation. Please download it, because once this show is over, I'm going to change the connection, so you won't be able to go back and get it again. But make sure that you download it for yourself, keep it to your own computer, and then you can have it. You can do whatever you want to do with this information. I don't care. You share it, change it, use it. I don't care. I'm not going to come after you, although it is my stuff. But I'm not going to hold you to any of the. It's copyright free. Go ahead and go lose your mind when it comes to that. Okay, so let's talk about it. There are a couple things I've been noticing for people that they've been doing ineffectively, and I realize that it's a lot of new networkers out there who now know that they can do a lot of things online, and they don't have to actually get up and go to a meeting, and so they're sort of cheating. They're not they're not getting dressed up, so they're sort of like they're not putting their best professional foot forward in terms of how they look. They're not showing up with any type of professional look. They're looking like they just rolled out of bed, and they got bed head, they're wearing t-shirts or whatever that is, and that's just not a good look for somebody to consider you professional. If you're going out, professional networking, you want to put some effort into how you show up on camera. The lighting is bad. Like even my lighting right now, it's kind of bad because I got this shine on my nose, but I could use another type of light that would do differently, and I could keep the shades off my face and all that kind of stuff. And I would suggest that you do it too. Make sure you have proper lighting. So that people can see you, people can see your facial expressions. By the way, turn your camera on. If you have an opportunity to turn your camera on, do so, because it shows people that you're engaged. We trust people who are engaged. We don't trust people who are disengaged, and we're less likely to follow up with them, less likely to want to talk to them, less likely to want to do anything to connect with them. And that's the value of networking in the first place, is trying to make new connections, because connections give you information that you need to grow, or more connections, right? And so if you don't do the right thing, you're not going to get that opportunity. You're not going to build the trust that you need to build. The next thing I see people do all the time is ridiculous, and it's not ridiculous because we're all taught to do it. But when they introduce themselves, they say their name. Well, if you're on Zoom, then your name is pretty much going to be right there in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. No need to say your name. First of all, we don't care. We don't care about your name. We don't care about your title. We don't care about what you do. Nobody cares. Nobody came to listen to a sales presentation from you. They came to meet you. They came to see if you're a person of interest, if you're a person of character, if you're a person that they can trust. They did not come to find out what you do, how you do it, how long you've been doing it. They don't need that. That's information that a customer needs. That's information that a client may need. Information that you may need to share within your networks, totally different. Because the question is, why should I refer you to my friends? And I don't need the detailed explanation of how you do what you do to refer you to my friends. What I need to know is that you won't embarrass me. What I need to know is that you'll do a great job. What I need to know is that I can trust you. And I can't trust you when you list the facts and features of what it is your product or services is, and you use language or jargon of your industry that only you know, and because it means you're talking over my head. And I'm not going to tell you you're talking over my head. I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to nod and I'm going to smile, and I may even give the obligatory clap when you finish. But we're not going to build a connection. We're not going to have trust. And if that doesn't happen, then there's no way I will refer you. There's no way I will give you to my friend, because you're going to do to my friend the same thing you just did to me. You're going to talk over my head and give me a whole bunch of useless information that they don't need. And it's probably going to be an embarrassment to me. And I'm not going to put a relationship on the line when you can't even express yourself and present yourself in a meaningful, powerful way. So let me give you some tips on how to make sure that you express yourself in a meaningful, powerful way. First of all, don't start with your name, your title, or what you do. Don't ever do it. Second of all, start with a benefit or a question that makes us think of a benefit. An example might be in my case. How important do you think it would be for a small business to maximize their productivity, to create tremendous amounts of energy, and to focus like they've never focused before? How important do you think that might be? That's a rhetorical question. But asking that question hints that there's a benefit coming that people might want to hear about, which means you got their attention. You have to get their attention. Another way to get their attention is through character development in a story. I may say what I just said, that open-ended question, and then I may say, Jennifer is about 33 years old. She's a great dentist. She's spent a lot of time in dental school. She recently graduated, and now she's looking at starting her practice and figuring out what she's going to do with the rest of her life. She's got sort of a boyfriend that he's been in tow for a while. Not sure what's going to happen with that, but she's having a hell of a time getting this practice started because she has so much debt from school and so much debt from all the equipment loans she had to take out in order to staff and in order to get the functions running up in her business, that now she's kind of depleted financially, and she doesn't know what else she can do to get the doors open, and nobody's coming through the door. She may have to declare bankruptcy at 33. A professional that may have to declare bankruptcy at 33, could you imagine how horrible that is? Not being able to get your life started, not being able to move forward in the career that you've chosen. It's a sad situation. So you want to tell a story, but you want to give enough demographic information for people to know, who is this person? What's their name? How old are they? What's the situation? What's the drama? If people aren't crying when you tell the story, then later on in the story, when you start to describe a solution or fix, then that's not going to matter. You got to literally take them on an emotional low in order to take them on an emotional high in order for them to go, ha, I want to refer you. So let's get back to Jennifer. Jennifer now is in such a state that she can't imagine how to get her way out. She's hired consultants. She's talked to coaches in the past. She's worked with several other people who all said and promised, I'm going to help you fix it, Jennifer. I'm going to help you get in front of it, Jennifer. I'm going to help you do this, that, and the other. And it all failed miserably. And she lost. She spent even more money. Got, a line of credit went up through the roof. And, so she said, you know what? One of her friends said to her, you know what, Jennifer, I think you should give it one more try. I got a person that I promise you is inexpensive. He's got a 100% track record and literally helps people get things done in a magical way. Can I introduce you to him? She said, what's he, a coach? Yeah, she said, he's a coach. Like, oh no, I don't want another coach. I don't want time. She said, you know what, dude, do me a favor and give him just talk to him. And if he can't help you, he'll tell you he can't help you. And if he can't help you, then he will. And he'll do it at a very reasonable price and do it within your budget. Fair enough? She said, okay, I'll give it a shot. She was very reluctant, but she gave it a shot. She gave me a call. I talked to her. Talked to her for about an hour. Got to know who she was, what was going on in her business, got to know what was going on with her life, and began to understand that her problem was much more simple than she thought it was. And so I told her, I was like, okay, I can help you out, but I'm not even going to charge you. Here's what you need to do. You need to connect with my friends over at the Community Soccer League organization. And you need to sponsor a couple of their teams and a couple of their games and just put a couple signs out and some brochures out on the field. And you're going to find that a lot of people are going to be interested in you. And she did that. She did that with the soccer program, the basketball program, the baseball program, the dance program, the scouts, and everything else that I pointed her to. And she went and started building relationships in the community. And guess what? All the kids who needed orthodontia started coming to her. Now she's a known entity in Northern Virginia. She's 4 offices. She's kicking butt and taking names, and nobody is going to compete with her because she figured out how to focus on people, not on the products or service. But she really figured out how the right people can, with the right connections, can deliver the right results to her. She learned to leverage. My name is Coach Powell. I love teaching entrepreneurs the ways that they need to leverage, create opportunities that they can never create for themselves. That you can do. You can do that in 2 minutes. You can do that in a minute if you're really tight. That took about 2 minutes for me, but you can do it in about a minute. Tell a great story, a story that's memorable, a story that people can repeat, and they're going to be exciting and interesting in it. If you guys are bored about that last story I just told, let me know, because I want to know. I'm pretty sure you weren't, because I know the elements. I know the 5 elements of perfect presentation. And so if you keep those elements in your presentation and you get rid of all the dumb stuff, you're going to win. People are going to fall in love with you, and people are going to trust you, and you're going to be able to leverage your talent and skills in a meaningful, powerful way. Now you can see why I put that 5 elements presentation in the last part of our talk today, because we're going to be talking about leverage. It's all said and done. How do you create leverage? How do you find leverage moments? These are things that I think are critically important to all of our success. All right, so understand that. Ask any questions you want to ask. In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to teach you, how you can get access to this free $5,000 opportunity I have in front of you. And I'll tell you what it is. My executive coaching package that I use in the Vision Quest 90 process costs about $5,000. It costs about $4,000. Plus, there's another $1,000 bonus program that I'm going to talk to you about. For the people who are interested, who qualify for this gift, I'm going to give them my entire executive planning process. Now, what this is 120 days of working with me. We work once a week. We talk for an hour on the phone. We talk about the problems, efforts, energy. We decide what problem that you really, really are facing, that you really want to find some solutions for. And we use the Vision Quest 90 process. The Vision Quest 90 process consists of 4 key areas: vision, purpose, your tasks, task orientation, and your habits. These are things that have to all work together. Your left brain, your right brain, all work together to help you create the you that you want to be, the things that you want to have, the person that you want to accelerate and become. Right? These are all a function of you understanding how to work with those Vision Quest 90 core principles and use them together to create your new reality. Once you understand that, any problem, any obstacle that you face going forward, you will have a systematic process that you've already used, that you've already executed, that you know how to go back to and execute again. And so if any of you all think this process is valuable, hold on a second. Don't go anywhere. We're also going to throw in the Vision Quest 9 executive program. We're going to throw in a free connection to the program on October 31st. So you're going to get a free ticket and a VIP invite to that program, and all the bonus plans and all the bonus structures and all that kind of stuff that's going to come along with that. As we develop them, you're going to get those gifts as well. That's probably well over $2,000 benefit. Plus, I'm going to throw in my personal training for the 5 elements of perfect presentation, so that anytime you ever introduce yourself, no matter what it is, no matter where it is, no matter where you are, you knock it out of the park. And that's a separate training program that I'm going to offer you. You have the data, but you don't have and the workbooks, but you don't have the me that comes along with helping you practice and get through it. So imagine me as your director of your 5 elements presentation. I'm going to help you polish that thing so that it's really, really good and solid. So that's what I'm giving away today. 5 Elements training program, the Vision Quest 90 process, and access to the October 31st program. That's well over $6,000 value. I'm calling it 5,000, but that's the gift that I'm going to give for those of you all hanging there today with me. Before we make the gift, I got to go through and see if we got any questions. Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about today, or have any questions at all that you want to throw out to the chat and throw out to the greater good for everybody? And I will get the questions, and I promise you I will answer. Da, 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 da. All right. Okay. So since there's no questions, we're going to shut down early, and I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to pull up a list of everybody who's attending today, and I'm going to just put my finger on somebody's name, and I'm giving our $5,000 gift to. Now, by the way, once I call your name, you need to acknowledge that you got the gift. It's going to, Eric has said, where do we meet in person? We don't meet in person right now, Eric. We'll be going back to Panera Bread, if you're talking about this meeting, every Friday at the Panera Bread in Clifton, probably somewhere around November, December, depending on how the COVID thing is going. When restaurants are fully open again, that's when we'll go back to a full meeting. Right now, everything's at stage 3 or 4, depending on where you are in Virginia, but that's when that's going to happen. If you're talking about the conference that's coming up on October 31st, that is going to be a totally virtual experience. So that's all going to be virtual. None of that's going to be face-to-face in October. And maybe going forward after this first conference, we'll probably do the face-to-face meetings, face-to-face conferences again. And I want to do one somewhere in the Washington metropolitan area every quarter. And so we'll also incorporate the online component now that we know how to do that kind of stuff. Well, there's a reason why we can't keep doing that, right? So we'll do that as well. So anyhow, that's going on, Eric. Thanks for asking the question. Any other questions out there? All right, before I start, before I point to who's going to get this, I'm going to close my eyes. I see the list of everybody who's here. All right, and boom. Ha! Cherie Warwick, you are the winner. So you're going to get free access to the conference on the 31st. You're going to get free coaching from me for the next 120 days. And you're going to get a free opportunity for me to help you with the perfect presentation to make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can. Anytime you want to introduce yourself, you knock that thing out of the park. So that's great on you. It's wonderful that you all came. I really appreciate your time, and I want to make sure I announce it. So Cherie is the winner. And if any of you all could do me a favor while you're still on, hey, please let your friends know that you came to Coffee to You and Me. We'll be doing this again next week. We're going to start taking a deeper dive into the 5 elements of perfect presentation. We're going to cover all of those elements, one by one, week by week, and we're going to just keep adding on and adding on and adding on. You're not going to want to miss this. You're going to get a lot of practice in. You're going to get a lot of rehearsal, and it's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to really explore these 5 elements so that whenever you're out there presenting yourself, you can do a phenomenal job. All right, Cherie, you have my number, but just in case, you need to give me a call right away. We can cash you in on all your gifts. And it was great having all of you. Yes, I spelled your name correctly. Spell check is telling me that's not her name. I know her name. Okay, boom. And it was fun talking to you guys. I had a great time. Thanks a lot for showing up. For those of you who are watching the replay of this on YouTube or on Facebook, and you want to participate in the conference, The $99 rate is still up and still available. It's going to be available until we get those first 100 tickets sold. Once we get those first 100 tickets sold, it's going to be 3 times the price. And so you definitely want to get in now. And we're going to continue to add on speakers. We're going to continue to add on talent of all types. So let's make sure that you please help me share that with as many people as possible, because I really want to do a good job and raise a ton of money for the Community Business Partnership. Okay, guys, I had fun. This was great. I don't see any questions in here. I want to make sure I'm not ignoring anybody. Let me just run through real quick. All right. Having said that, love you all. Thank you for your time, your participation. I really appreciate you. And it was great. Let's do it again. See you next Friday. Bye now.